Hello, social studies scholars. Mrs. Olson here. We are continuing our lessons on the Bill of Rights, and we always begin with the learning target, which reads that you will be able to understand the principles established in the Bill of Rights. So we are continuing our lessons. Make sure that you have a piece of paper and a writing utensil handy, or another window open with a word processing program on it so that you can be recording notes. Today we are specifically talking about the Fourth, Fifth, and Sixth Amendments. Here we go. So remember that we always look at the way that each amendment was written exactly, even if it's a little bit hard to understand, so that we can see the actual words that our forefathers wrote. So the Fourth Amendment says, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Okay, so let's talk exactly about what those words mean. So, to sum up the Fourth Amendment, some people use the phrase search and seizure. That's what this is about. The Fourth Amendment is about the government searching our property, our persons, and seizing, taking things if they deem necessary. And then how do they do that and be in agreement with the law, with the Constitution? Okay, so the Fourth Amendment protects citizens from improper searches of, here's a list of bodies, so our human bodies, ourselves, of our possessions, of our homes, and we're going to take one step back. So let's recap what this says. Protects citizens from improper searches. Okay, improper, meaning that they have to follow the law and do proper searches of each of these things if they need and or want to. Okay, they also have to have good reasons for the search. So just because the police don't like somebody, for example, they cannot do a search or a seizure of their bodies, possessions, or homes. They have to have a probable cause in order to do that search. And that means that they have to have evidence, history. They have to have a really, really good idea of what it is that they're searching for and why. Okay, and then in order to conduct the searches, they have to have a court order. So maybe if you're watching TV, the actors and actresses, they might use the phrase court order. A lot of times they'll also use the word warrant. And so court order and warrant mean pretty much the same thing. That the police have to have that piece of paper saying that it's okay to conduct that search. Okay? All right, so no searching without a warrant. All right, so here is a political cartoon that gives us the ideas of the Fourth Amendment, but in picture form. So here we have Uncle Sam, which often represents the government or the military, represents America. We've got two policemen here, and on his cell phone, right? Uh-oh, look what he's got on his cell phone. It has the Fourth Amendment details. No unreasonable searches or seizures. And the US Constitution said that. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of search and seizure and what is allowed and not allowed by the law. So going into the Fifth Amendment, here goes with the actual words. It says, No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia when in actual service in time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. All right, that is a long one. The Fifth Amendment actually includes a lot of different speculations or details, and we're only going to talk about a few of them, okay? So, the Fifth Amendment is dealing with the rights of the accused, due process of the law, and eminent domain. So we are going to be talking about on this slide the rights of the accused. So if you are accused of committing a crime, the Fifth Amendment protects the rights of anyone accused of a crime. Okay? Sometimes people are wrongly accused, and even if you are wrongly accused in the United States, you still have rights. Okay? And in the United States, everyone is innocent until proven guilty. So, just because you're accused doesn't mean that you committed the crime. So we have this idea in our justice system that everyone is innocent, meaning that they didn't do it until the lawyers can prove that the person actually did with evidence. Okay? So to give you an idea of why this is an important idea, in some countries, the accused, they have to prove they are innocent. Now think about that for a second. Think about the differences between innocent until proven guilty or guilty until proven innocent. And you can always ask me questions if you have them. Just send them to me in the inbox, okay? All right, so the second part of the Fifth Amendment has to do with due process. Now, due process means that everyone is treated the same by law. So it doesn't matter if you are male or female, if you are young or old, if you have different color of skin, if you don't speak the same language, everybody is treated the same, okay? So nobody gets special treatment, or nobody is supposed to get special treatment, and nobody is discriminated against. So when you're in the court system, the lawyers, the judge, the jury, everyone has to use the same rules and the same processes as everybody else. Okay, so here are the scales of justice. So here's the idea. We want these scales of justice to be equal instead of having them be lopsided. So this represents everybody being treated the same, and this represents that there's some imbalance in the law or the way that the courts have handled the case when somebody is accused. Okay. All right, so the last part of the Fifth Amendment has to do with eminent domain. If the government takes over a person's property, they have to pay for it. Now you're probably wondering, when does that happen? Well, actually in Western Washington, they're talking about taking over different parts of cities to build a rail line. And so there are some buildings and some areas that are actually going to be demolished if this idea ever comes through, if it ever passes. Okay, so here's the example. If the state wanted to build a highway that runs right through your house, now think about that for a second. If they wanted to build a highway and the path that they want to use goes right through your bedroom, they would have to pay a reasonable price for the property. So they couldn't just give you, say, $1 because they're going to take your house. They have to take what is called fair market value. They have to pay you what your house is worth if they take it over and they make you move. Okay, so here's that idea in picture form, right? Bulldozing this big long stretch of land, taking over your house so that they can build a highway. And here's another graphic that means the same thing. So here's that phrase, eminent domain. If they have to knock down your house to build a highway, they also have to pay for what that property is worth. Okay, and our last one, and this one I found kind of a script font right here, so just bear with me for a moment. This is the Sixth Amendment. It says, in all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial. That is what we are going to be talking about in the Sixth Amendment. I'm going to do away with reading the rest of it for this lesson, okay? So the Sixth Amendment is about fair and speedy trials. Here it goes. The Sixth Amendment guarantees a speedy public trial by an impartial jury. So you don't have to sit in jail for 2 years waiting for your trial, okay? And impartial means that the jury, so the 12 people that are on the case listening to all of the evidence that will eventually make a decision, they are not going to have any judgments. They're not going to know about you beforehand. They are going to be impartial. They're going to be unbiased. They're not going to have any opinions before they hear the evidence, and that's really important, okay? So, think about these questions. How would you feel if you were falsely accused of cheating on a test? How could you defend yourself when somebody already says that you're the one who did it? Well, what if you had to wait a really long time before the matter was cleared up? Your reputation could hurt, meaning that the way that people think about you, what they say about you, could be really negative for a long, long time until you were proven innocent, that you did not cheat on that test. So this is why the Sixth Amendment is an important one, to have fair and speedy trials so that you are heard by an impartial jury and you don't have to worry for a long time that your reputation is going to be hurt, because sometimes that prevents people from getting jobs and things like that. Okay, so this was the fourth, the fifth, in the Sixth Amendment in the Bill of Rights. Please let me know if you have any questions. Bye.